Welcome. I am Heather Wright. I am the Interim Associate Dean of Student Affairs to the Carle, Illinois College of Medicine, and I'm so excited to welcome you to the white coat ceremony. So you're all welcome to be seated. As we begin today, we just wanted to celebrate all of those who are here. We really want to start with celebrating our students that are the whole reason why we're here. So welcome, students. We're so glad to share in this moment with you. We also want to recognize our faculty who are seated throughout the hall today and really appreciate all of their service to helping our students grow into these wonderful physician innovators. We also want to celebrate the family and friends who have come here today to share in this beautiful moment. And we want to appreciate all of those who are joining us by live stream today. So to start things off, I'm going to read our land acknowledgement for the University of Illinois. I begin today by recognizing and acknowledging that we are on the lands of the Peoria, the Kaskaskia, the Pankashaw, the Wea, Miami, Mascoutin, Ottawa, Sauk, Meskwaki, Kickapoo, Potawatomi, Ojibwa, and Chickasaw nations. These lands were the traditional territory of these Native nations prior to their forced removal. These lands continue to carry the stories of these nations and their struggles for survival and identity. As a land-grant institution, the University of Illinois has a particular responsibility to acknowledge the peoples of these lands, as well as the histories of dispossession that have allowed the growth of this institution for the past 150 years. We are also obligated to reflect on and actively address these histories and the role that this university has played in shaping them. This acknowledgement and the centering of Native peoples is a start as we move forward for the next 150 years.
Thank you, Heather. Again, welcome. I'm Dr. Victoria Richards. I'm the Assistant Dean for Curriculum here at Carle, Illinois, and your additional MC for this afternoon. So I just want to briefly say that the first white coat ceremony for medicine occurred in 1993 at the Columbia University College of Physicians and Surgeons. At the time, Dr. Arnold Gold, a professor of clinical neurology and a professor of clinical pediatrics, felt that the recitation of the Hippocratic Oath was way too late in their training. Subsequently, the Gold Foundation instituted the white coat ceremony as a means to emphasize humanism in medicine to coincide with what students start their medical education. Since 1993, and with the support of the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, the white coat ceremony spread across the country and being adopted by nearly every medical school in North America, correlating with early clinical experience and patient interaction. So I welcome you to this rite of passage that highlights the intentional elevation of humanism as the core value and cohesion of compassion and scientific excellence. We will have opening remarks from Carle, Illinois and Carle Health leadership, along with remarks from the president of the Champaign County Medical Society, Dr. Rosenkrantz. With that, please join me in welcoming Dean Kingley.
Hello, class of 2025. Ooh! Dear faculty, staff, family, and friends, today we're inducting our fourth class of the world's first engineering-focused College of Medicine into the medical profession. This is a historic moment for our college, because this is the first time we have all four classes in our college. Our college aims to leverage engineering, technology, and data science to increase the quality, decrease cost, increase accessibility and equity, and enhance the humanistic aspects of healthcare. I would like to remind you, Class 2025, that medicine is a service profession that carries tremendous privilege, but also tremendous responsibilities. There will be a lot of hard work associated with a career in medicine, but you'll also find it extremely rewarding. As many of you know, that I will be retiring at the end of this calendar year after 40 years as a physician and my whole career in academic medicine. I graduated before the time there was a white coat ceremony, but I still remember donning for the first time the white coat. I thought to myself, society has awarded me this great responsibility, and I would learn as much as possible to pay the society back. Medicine as practiced today will not be able to keep up with the demands of an aging population worldwide and growing health disparities, even in wealthy nations such as in the United States. As future physician innovators, you are well positioned to lead a revolution in medicine. We count on you to not just make impact one patient at a time, but also to lead systemic changes in healthcare delivery that will make impact worldwide. Congratulations and welcome again to a great career in medicine.
Hello, I'm Dr. Blair Rowitz. I'm the Associate Dean for Clinical Affairs for the Carle Illinois College of Medicine and one of the Associate Chief Medical Officers for Carle Health. To the class of 2025, congratulations on your accomplishments to date and welcome to the Carle Illinois College of Medicine. Amongst other things, the white coat symbolizes professionalism, excellence, and also recognizes your preparedness to begin your journey to care for patients. As such, you'll be joining Carle Health, the clinical partner for the Carle Illinois College of Medicine, with its rich 103-year tradition of care, our 5 acute care hospitals, over 80 ambulatory and inpatient specialties, 1.5 million population of service area, and over 11,000 team members, all with a shared vision to improve health by providing highly accessible, world-class care and service. It's a solemn privilege, but it's one that comes with incredible opportunities for personal inspiration and impact. There will be times, particularly in the early stages of your clinical development, when you may feel inexperienced or that your efforts are extraneous to care. There'll be other times as you advance in your clinical training and you develop more skills and are given more direct responsibilities that will be very challenging and very trying. But during those times, do not underestimate yourselves. Your contributions to the clinical care and the innovation efforts are critical to not only the success of Carle Health, but the care of every single one of our patients on an individual basis. With that in mind, on behalf of the physicians, the team members, the medical and executive leadership, and the patients of Carle Health, we welcome you to our team. We look forward to collaborating to do great things.
Good afternoon. I am so honored to speak to you today as a former medical student, now a physician and faculty member, and for the past year, the president of the Champaign County Medical Society. So I didn't talk to Dr. Lee in advance, but we have a shared experience. In the 1980s, just before starting my clinical rotations, there was no white coat ceremony to welcome my class to the practice of medicine, to take an oath of our commitment to compassion and humanism and the obligations that came with caring for patients in our future careers. The Gold Humanism Society would not establish this meaningful ceremony until 1993, as Dr. Richardson described. I was directed to the medical school bookstore and found the short white medical student coats on a nondescript clothing rack. They had no name, no identifying patch or nice pins. There was no ceremony to commemorate that momentous milestone in my journey. But I treasure the memory of that moment and my sense of pride and excitement as I was finally in possession of that iconic garment that I was so proud to wear. It identified me as a medical student who was finally going to participate in real patient care. I was also felt a profound sense of the seriousness and responsibility of what I was about to undertake and was humbled by the significance of purchasing this garment. That is why it is especially gratifying for me to participate in your white coat ceremony and to represent the Champaign County Medical Society as a sponsor supporting the purchase and distribution of your coats. So the white coat ceremony marks your induction to the medical profession and the transition to becoming part of the clinical team. It's suitable that it's bestowed at the beginning of your medical school journey, as it emphasizes that humanism and integrity in medical profession begins from day one. So your white coat has many pockets to carry tools. The tools have changed a little bit. We used to have the Washington manual and all sorts of things falling out of our pockets. Right now you have a reflex hammer, cell phone, maybe a pager, maybe not, pens, notes, and more. And these items will help you care for your patients as you guide them in disease prevention, diagnosis, and treatment. However, there are a few items that are not in your coat. And of those items are, I don't think a cardiologist would argue with me, but your heart is not in your coat pocket, and that is where you store so much humanism, empathy, and compassion. And the other thing that's not in your coat pocket is your larynx and your voice. And be it at the bedside, the town hall, or in the State House, using your voice to advocate as a medical professional will make a difference and embrace the humanism and commitment to patient care that is the theme of this day. So physicians must speak out and provide guidance on so many crucial matters: optimizing healthcare access, adaptation and mitigation of public health threats, such as pandemics and climate change, addressing non-communicable diseases and challenging social determinants of health, improving medical education, and very importantly, addressing physician well-being. These are just a few of these issues. As I represent the Champaign County Medical Society, I want to share the value of organized medicine, physicians working together to advocate on behalf of their colleagues, patients, and community at the local, state, and national level. Our voice really matters. Policy and lawmakers often don't know about medicine. Our expertise can help influence and inform healthcare policy that impacts your patients and fellow healthcare providers. The business and practice of medicine, as well as the challenges faced by our colleagues and patients, are continually changing. Having a seat at the table allows you to make a difference. My participation in the county and state medical society, as well as the AMA, have opened a new chapter in my life and have allowed me to use my voice. It is a tool that supplements the items that I carry in my white coat. So I encourage you all to pursue opportunities to use your voice, as well as to advocate for your patients, community, and profession. Congratulations to all of you. It is a great achievement to arrive at this day. Wear your coat proudly as you embrace compassion, integrity, and humanism in all of your endeavors. I hope our paths cross often as we use all the important tools at our disposal, in our pockets, and in our hearts. Thank you.
So thank you again for joining us today. As I mentioned earlier, I'm Heather. I'm our Interim Associate Dean of Student Affairs. So I work in student affairs, and so that's the work that we do with these wonderful students, from recruitment to career advising for the match. We always have this opportunity to work directly hand in hand with the students throughout the entire life cycle of medical school. So it is a true privilege that we can bear witness to their growth and development as future physician innovators and share in this special moment on that path. And as we kind of journey forward, I wanted to take a moment to just pause and reflect on all of the hard work that has led to this moment. So for the friends and family, right, it's all of the times that you're championing the student to help them feel confident and successful as their pre-med journey and now as a medical student. It's for all of the stress of the exam exams and really being there for all the extracurriculars because they have to have that on their AMCAS, right? And so all of that stress that they feel on that journey. For all the friends who are reviewing personal statements. And so, it's all of the love and care that you all have given to these incredible students that has allowed them to be here today. And so we really want to pause and celebrate you in that journey and all of the love and the care that you have poured into this student who now is going to take that love and care and pour that into future patients. It's such a gift that you're sharing with the world and with us. And so we appreciate sharing in this moment with us today. And so for all of our students, we're so grateful that you are here, and we're so grateful for the love and support that all that have cared for you on this journey have kind of poured into you, so we can continue to carry that forward. So now I have the chance to introduce you to one of our wonderful students and a leader here at Carle, Illinois, Ananth Naik. Ananth is a third-year medical student, and he's the current president of the student body. Ananth did his undergraduate education at the University of Minnesota, graduating summa cum laude with a bachelor's in biomedical engineering and an emphasis in neural engineering and bioelectronics. Ananth has received the Ina Merman Human Rights Fellowship and was the youngest recipient of the University of Minnesota's Outstanding Community Service Award for his work leading grassroots engineering efforts in over 5 countries to bring clean water and sustainable agriculture to rural communities. Ananth is particularly passionate about developing a strong culture of innovation and research at Carle, Illinois, and advocating for students. Welcome, Ananth.
Thank you, everyone. It's my distinct honor and privilege to officially welcome the class of 2025 to our community at the Carle, Illinois College of Medicine. Give yourself another round of applause. One of the first things I learned in medical school was that some patients have elevated blood pressure only when they go to a doctor's office. A study found that this affects 1 in 3 people, possibly. And some have hypothesized that this is because of the physician's attire. We refer to this as white coat hypertension. And so if any of you have white coat hypertension, I'm going to apologize in advance. There's going to be a lot of white coats very soon. So I understand this event may be a little bit stressful for you. I will say, though, that this event was called a white coat ceremony, so you all are here voluntarily. As we gather here today to celebrate the beginning of a very long journey for the class of 2025, I thought it would be a good opportunity to reflect on my experience as a medical student at the Carle, Illinois College of Medicine. So when I started here a couple of years ago, 32 of us walked across a very similar stage. At that time, we didn't have a class ahead of us. It was just kind of us in the college. What we did have, though, was the wonderful support of the staff in academic affairs, student affairs, and the different departments at our medical school that all made our experience at medical school an incredible experience. That included being able to do innovative projects, being able to shadow incredible physicians at the hospital, and meet wonderful people and patients. We all came here with different backgrounds, different lived experiences, all culminating in the inception of our journey as future physicians, entrepreneurs, innovators, and scientists. Some of us came immediately out of undergrad. Others came from the trenches of corporate America. Some students had served in the military. I came to see this diversity of perspectives as a very, very important strength of our class. This diversity manifested itself not only in how we identified the challenges in healthcare, but also the solutions that we designed to fix those challenges. Another thing I realized was how important the friends I have made during this journey are to me. Your friends and your support system, which includes your family, will get you through the difficult times that are up ahead. The obvious example of the difficult test or OSCE are just scratching the surface. I remember after a very difficult day on my surgery rotation, when a surgery that I was scrubbed into had gone wrong. And it was a friend that helped me to see what could be learned from this type of experience. It was a very close friend that ultimately helped me to learn and how to move forward. When some of us got sick, we all pitched in to help each other. And it's this community in medical school that is ultimately helping us to cross the line. So as each of you sit down today and you look around you and look at your classmates, recognize that these classmates are not just your support system for the next 4 years, but possibly for a very long time to come. So as you all continue this journey, I look forward to celebrating with you when you cross on the other side. Thank you so much.
Now it is with my distinct privilege to introduce Dr. Chris Nelson as your speaker for today. Dr. Nelson grew up here locally in Champaign. He attended the University of Illinois, receiving his undergraduate degree in biology. He then traveled north to study medicine at the University of Illinois College of Medicine at Chicago, earning his medical degree in 2002. He matched into residency in family medicine, training at the Southern Illinois University Family Medicine Residency Program in Springfield, Illinois, graduating in 2005. He is a board-certified family medicine physician and has been practicing here at Carle for over 16 years. Throughout his time in practice, Dr. Nelson has been involved in the education of medical students and residents. He was the Associate Program Director for the Carle Family Medicine Residency Program for over 5 years, with focus on resident recruitment, progress, and promotion. He later served for 5 years as course director for the Foundations of Clinical Medicine course at the University of Illinois College of Medicine at Urbana, known by many as the Legacy School. Over the years, he has worked with scores of students and residents, many of whom now practice here at Carle, including the ones that care for him and his family as their own family physicians. He has earned the Resident Teacher Award from the Society of Teachers of Family Medicine and the American Academy of Family Physicians Foundation Teacher Development Award. While he continues to supervise our medical students in their student clinic, as well as take shifts at Carle Convenient Care, Dr. Nelson chose to leave his busy clinical practice after 16 years to focus on the training of our medical students as the first full-time Director of Clinical Skills and the Acting Director of Phase 2, which is our clinical clerkships. Here at SciMed, he serves on the Curriculum Oversight Committee, the Student Progress and Promotion Committee, the Engineering Task Force, the Phase 1 Committee, the Phase 2 Committee, and chairs the Career Boot Camp Committee. Dr. Nelson has also been a facilitator for the Introduction to Clinical Practice Physical Diagnosis course for the last 3 years. Furthermore, his role gives him primary responsibility for the numerous formative and summative OSCEs that all students go through to assess their clinical skills, using a combined total of more than 30 cases and over 60 stations during their 4 years. Dr. Nelson and his wife Jennifer have been married for 15 years, and she is a horticultural instructor here on campus. They have 2 children, Andrew, who is 8 and in the 3rd grade, and Margaret, who is 5 and started kindergarten last month. In his free time, he enjoys playing softball, basketball, and golf, gardening and landscaping under his wife's tutelage, playing basketball, baseball, and golf with his kids, attending UI football and basketball games, and still celebrating the Cubs' 2016 World Series win just like it was yesterday. So please welcome Dr. Chris Nelson.
Wardrobe change. So now we all feel like we're in the same group. Does that fit? Oh, goodness. It's tattered, it's a little tight, but it's heavy. We'll talk about that. Thank you, Dr. Richards, and the rest of our faculty here. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak to these students. Let's get our technology going here, right? There we go. So it's been 23 years since I was in your shoes right now. And I know that that's how old some of you are. I'm not going to remark on some of my previous speakers here of what their length of time might have been. But my white coat ceremony was held outdoors under a tent. It was hot. It was the beginning of August. It was humid. I had no idea what this was really all about. Excuse me as I take off my mask here. Only someone said that this was a big deal, okay? The reality is, in fact, that my dad, who was also a practicing physician at the time, he thought it was a big deal, even though he himself had not gone through this, okay? The thing is, such an event had only been going on for a couple of years at my institution and had only gone on for 3 years or 4 years nationwide prior. So it wasn't exactly steeped in tradition at the time. But we were all dressed up, and it was hot. There were speeches. I think there might have been even a string quartet. Everyone sat with their families. Students were called up by groups. Again, at the moment, there was not the clear understanding of the importance of the day. Rather, while it was a special event with some nice hors d'oeuvres afterwards, saw them out there already. For me, the most memorable aspect of the day was how sticky we all felt and how stinky we all were because it was hot. But we got air conditioning today, so that's good. So it was probably about a month later that it registered with me. Before I showed up for my first session with my clinic preceptor, I had to sew on, let's see, I guess it was this patch, to make sure that I was designated as a medical student. And it ended up being my first suturing skills test, basically. So when I walked into the clinic that morning, I felt awkward. I didn't know what to expect. Where was I going? What was my preceptor going to think of me? Did I sew my patch on the correct arm? In fact, actually, as Dr. Rosenkrantz and I were lamenting, my clinical preceptor was actually a friend of hers that she worked with years later. But it became easier, being there because it was immediately apparent that patients understood what I was there for. Okay. Granted, I was in an academic medical center environment. The staff and nurses knew a thing or two about getting me acclimated. But folks knew, including the patients, about medical students and where they fell in the food chain. Below the attending, below the fellows and the residents, certainly below the nurses. And the patients immediately opened up. Not all of them. With some of them, you had to work at it, right? But if you find your ways, you develop your ways, you learn those ways from role models, both good and bad. As an aside, some of your greatest education you're going to get from the nurses you work with. Chat them up, ask questions. Why are they doing the things that they're doing? Bring them snacks. If you're going to the cafeteria late at night, ask if anybody needs anything, okay? So, I was called upon today to discuss the white coat. Its importance, its relevance to the practice of medicine today. So I'll give a little history lesson. I understand we've kind of had a little bit of a primer already, but in the Dark Ages, and even all the way up into the late 1800s, so-called doctors were often robed in black attire. In fact, at those times, much of what was called doctoring was simply put quackery, okay? They were only called upon as a last resort. And when you look at statistics, last resorts have a high rate of failure. So the presence of a doctor was so frequently associated with the darkness of death. In the late 1800s, though, scientific breakthroughs were being made related to the basis of disease. One of the most world-changing discoveries was the knowledge of bacteria, but more importantly, how to kill them. Dr. Joseph Lister was developing ways to sanitize with antiseptics. A corollary of that became the understanding that if you can see the dirt and grime and blood and guts on something, then you'll have a better realization of whether something's clean. Hence the move toward making all surgical hospital settings draped in white. From the bed sheets to the surgical gowns, surgical caps, everything was white. Nowadays, you'll still see a few nurses in the States wearing the traditional white nurse's hat. The appearance of white attire became symbolic of the understanding of antisepsis, and so became the appearance of the white coat that physicians wear today. So, we're talking earlier about the long versus the short coat, right? Somewhere along the way, it became necessary to distinguish the difference between physicians in training from those of us that have been doing this for a while. So they made the white coat shorter for the students, right? Of course. So when you're a student, most patients are forgiving. Okay, most patients understand that you're there to learn from them. Most patients want to help you in your education, because most patients realize that you will one day be in charge of their care. That's frankly why I took this job, because I want to make sure that you guys know what you're doing for when I need you. So, okay. So earlier I mentioned nurses are some of the most important people you'll learn from, and that's absolutely true, but the absolute greatest education you'll receive is not from the nurses, not from the residents or the fellows or your clinical or non-clinical faculty. The best education is going to be from your patients. You knew that was coming, right? So not just because they're there seeking your help, but because they will open up to you about so many things about life, about relationships, about your values, about their values. Some of your beliefs will be challenged, some will be reinforced. But every patient interaction is a learning opportunity, even as an attending. You're granted that privilege because of the trust that the white coat invokes. So don't spoil that trust. So let's shift gears a little. Why I'm wearing this. My advice regarding the importance of the white coat. Take care of it, because it will take care of you. Lots of ways it will help you. Number one, pockets. All the papers, right? You'll always have papers to keep track of when on rounds, okay? Keeping track of your patients, the things you need to follow up on, a copy of the H&P that you wrote, the subsequent lab results every day. They've got all sorts of great little things that they came up with. Have those things at your fingertips to be ready on rounds, okay? Of course, nowadays, all that stuff's electronic. You got computers at any moment, and they make computers that fit in your pocket. Okay, so what about all the references, all the reference books that you have? Back in the day, we had tons of reference books. They're really handy. Great diagnostic tools, great reference cards to help you remember how to interpret test results, mathematical formulas to figure out someone's creatinine clearance or whatever. Of course, nowadays, you don't need that, you don't need that. Let's see. Normal lab values, it gives it to you on the computer, right? You don't need that. Management of patients with valvular heart disease from the American Heart Association, you don't need that. The most powerful reference tool fits in your pocket. Got a couple other things too. Your exam tools. Ultimately, it's hard to replace the reflex hammer, right? I know that in Pod 4 this year, we're going to find ways to, instead of using a reflex hammer for reflexes, we're going to use our cell phone. Pod 5 might want to take that up too, Dr. Rosenkrantz? Okay, all right. So you might not need this anymore either, okay. Innovation has helped with all these things, right? But most importantly, snacks. Again, we got to get back to the food. You'll get hungry, all right? You won't have regular meal times. You'll still need to eat. Get your protein bars, your fruit snacks, your grapes. Some people like cherry tomatoes. Some people don't. There hasn't yet been technology to fill this gap, though, right? Hunger. Of course, you guys are the physician innovators, so probably one day we won't need snacks anymore. So you won't need pockets for that. All right, so what else does your white coat do? So it protects you from all the splashes. The blood, the guts, I'll leave it at those couple things. But no, really, it's just mostly dirt and grime, okay? You don't need that stuff on your clothes. But, it's another one that innovation has fixed, this thing called bleach. And it's nice to have a white coat. It's easy to bleach it. A black coat doesn't work very well if you do it that way. So, what else comes with the white coat is the respect, and we've alluded to that already here. A degree of respect is really instantly granted unto you from your patients. Maybe not from the nurses or the attendings that don't know you yet, but from the patients, definitely. One of the last things that the white coat brings, though, is a feeling of security. As an M1 student, you'll gradually come to rely on it like a security blanket. Okay. See my short white coat? I'm still a student. I don't have a final say in any of this stuff. But with that comes all the learning and the experience, all the application of the book knowledge to an actual real-life patient. Before you know it, you eventually won't need this, right? Because I don't want to be seen as a student anymore. I don't want just a short white coat. I'm ready now for the long white coat. And that's where residency comes in, right? But in residency, the white coat still offers all the same exact things as the short one did, really, right? Pockets, protection from spills, respect from patients and staff. And now all the responsibility. But there's a little meager paycheck that goes with it too this time. So eventually you get out into practice, right? And you'll find with time that you won't need the coat to feel secure about how to best care for your patient. Over the last 16 years, I've worn my white coat fewer and fewer times, usually only when rounding in the hospital or for special occasions. In fact, I know that some of my patients would have been stunned or maybe even concerned if I were wearing it in clinic. They'd be more likely to see me wearing a bad toupee during a patient visit on Halloween. It might have happened more than once. So as you move along, you'll find that it's not unusual these days for certain subsets of physicians not to wear it in practice, though, okay? So psychiatrists, psychiatrists, to be able to interrelate with their patients in a more calming, down-to-earth manner, get them to open up. Some of them don't wear it. Pediatricians, mostly because the very sight of a white coat by little kids instills fear of a shot coming. You guys do great with shots, though. As a family medicine doc, though, I fell into that camp as well. So since we see adults and kids, I just got tired of taking my coat on and off multiple times throughout the day based on what my patient schedule looked like, but also the frequent counseling similar to the psychiatric setting. In the end, no matter what you use your white coat for or when you wear it, don't let it define who you are. Don't let the coat define you as a doctor. Rather, let the way you take care of patients earn their respect and that of your colleagues. Let that define you as a doctor. Don't let the coat define you as a person. You're Claire, or you're Sam, or you're Anisha, or Monica, or Vignesh, or the other Claire. and you're going to do the best job you can because that's who you are, not because of what you're wearing. Never forget that what matters is what your white coat holds within it, and that's you, right? We talked about your heart and your voice, right? What's inside of you is what a patient cares about, what connects you to them, and the connection that they need at that moment. Don't let them only see your white coat, but rather let it be the means to reveal what's inside of you. Your white coat will take care of you, so you can take care of them. Remember, it's the white coat that first gives you that opportunity, though. Okay. So it's been an honor to speak, with you guys today. To the family members and friends in the audience, this group of students, we've really gotten to enjoy them already. It's a privilege to work with them. My colleagues and I will continue to do our best to make you proud of them, and I know that they'll do the same. So with that, I'll say thank you very much.
We're getting to the action where you're going to be so excited. All right.
So I'd like to introduce again to the stage Dean Lee, as well as Dr. Stephen Bopart, who's the Executive Associate Dean and Chief Diversity Officer, as we go through the instructions for donning the white coat.
I'll also let you know we have a professional photographer here today that will have all of the photos available for students. So don't worry about getting that perfect Instagram pic. We've got you covered, so it'll be okay. All right, so we will welcome the Lauterbur pod to stand, please. All right. So we'll be providing white coats by pod. So Lauterbur and B. Smith are going to be their pods to start. So students, go ahead and process to line up, and I'll begin announcing students for the white coats. Okay. Vignesh Ala. Straighten it out. Yep. Okay, nothing. Drishti Bardawaj. Michael Chen. Jalea Tehan Daisekanaha. Matthew Duza. Mahima Goyal. Hamad Linjawi. Yeah. Megan McNicholas. Madeline Minessi. Ryan Manjazeb. Daniel Nanjafali. Tarika Patel. All right, for the Smith Pods, we have Alexander Kaufman. Roy Yu Chun Cheng. Andrew Hyde. Hyunji Koo. Claire Lee. Ben Lee. Puneek Moradian. Kelly Moliani. Sorry. Mahershi Pandya. Shreya Rangarajan. Vish Vijayakumar. Let me just leave this here. Do you want yours?
Monica Bhagwan. Suma Varshini Gangidi. Mukul Govande. Jeffrey Liu. Michael Ma. Sabrina Mann. Anisha Mittal. Dhruv Patel. Michael Posen. Christopher Roulard. Annabelle Schaefer. Beverly Tomita. Maria Betterson. Prunav Dorbala. Claire Landaway. Emily Lemieux. Sam Mirkoff. Daniel Ung. Nicholas Nguyen. Noah Nye. Peyton Pichelle. Nancy Pham. Caden Rawson. Ashka Shaw.
The Hippocratic Oath is a code of ethics historically taken by physicians. The oath is the earliest expression of medical ethics in the Western world, establishing several principles that remain of paramount significance today. Now, the original oath was written a long time ago, so it is in need of some revision, particularly since it's written in Greek and probably very few people in the room can read it and understand it. And also has a lot of extraneous things like prayers to a bunch of ancient gods, so we'll skip that part too. So what we're gonna recite is the World Medical Association Declaration of Geneva, the Physician's Pledge, a modified version of the oath that really still has some of many of the same principles. So I'd like to ask the class of 2025 to stand, and any physicians in the room who would like to recite the oath to also please stand. So we'll repeat after me then. As a member of the medical profession, I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of humanity. The health and well-being of my patient will be my first consideration. I will respect the autonomy and dignity of my patient. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will not permit considerations of age, disease or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factor to intervene between my duty and my patient. I will respect the secrets that are confided in me, even after the patient has died. I will respect the secrets that are confided in me, even after the patient has died. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity and in accordance with good medical practice. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity and in accordance with good medical practice. I will foster the honor and noble traditions of the medical profession. I will give my teachers, colleagues, and students the respect and gratitude that is their due. I will give to my teachers, colleagues, and students the respect and gratitude that is their due. I will share my medical knowledge for the benefit of the patient and the advancement of health care. I will share my medical knowledge for the benefit of the patient and the advancement of health care. I will attend to my own health, well-being, and abilities in order to provide care of the highest standard. I will not use my medical knowledge to violate human rights and civil liberties, even under threat. I will not use my medical knowledge to violate human rights and civil liberties, even under threat. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. I now have the privilege of introducing the Carle, Illinois College of Medicine class of 2025.
Thank you. And as we conclude this ceremony, I just want to say it's my humblest honor to be a part of this ceremony and seeing the class of 2025 as they progress. I also want to thank everyone for attending. I want to thank everyone who's helped. There are a lot of people you don't see who are behind the scenes that have made this possible, and I truly appreciate everyone's commitment to this process. I also want to share the significance of the Maker Coin. That gives the students access to the Health Maker Lab, which is a network of 19 labs and spaces across the University of Illinois campus to aid in realizing your dreams and to help fulfill your promise to change healthcare. And the staff will distribute these coins as you exit.
Again, we're so grateful to share in this day with you all. It was so wonderful to look out and see the pride radiating from those in the room and feeling it from those who are online as well. And to see the just joy as you all read your oath. It was such a special moment. So thank you for sharing that with us today. To continue the celebration, there is a reception afterwards right in the lobby, but we are cognizant we're in a pandemic, so please be mindful of social distancing and maintaining a mask on when you're not like eating or drinking. So we're going to do our best to try to celebrate, but to do so safely. So trying to spread out throughout the building and utilizing some of the outside space would be greatly appreciated. So thank you once again for joining us, and thank you to the Student Affairs team for putting on this event, particularly Wendy, Jackie, and Andrea, who put in so much effort and energy into making this a special day. So thank you to them as well. So with that, we'll process out and we will continue the celebration out in the lobby. Thank you everyone for coming.
No, it's okay. I'll follow.
Thank you. That was really well done.